Good morning, everyone. This morning I'm out here in the beautiful ridge and valley of northeastern Tennessee, and I'm hiking through some nice bottomland habitat here. And as you can see above me, we have some nice cloud cover. It's only in the low 60s right now, so really good king snake weather. I'm going to be hiking and flipping for eastern black king snakes here, and I'm actually at the northeasternmost extent of their range. So unlike many other areas where they occur, they can actually be a real challenge to find here because it's at the edge of their range, and the bottomland habitat that they prefer becomes fewer and further between up here. So yeah, it's really good weather, so I feel like we'll find some good stuff. But I'm going to get to hiking and flip some rocks, and we will see if we can find us a king. Well, that did not take long. First snake of the day in situ here, coming out of this piece of pavement, is this eastern black king snake here. This is exactly what I came here for today. This is a really nice solid black one here. This is the northeasternmost extent of their range in Tennessee, where they actually become pretty hard to find. They're common throughout much of the state, but once you get up here heading towards the Virginia state line, they can be a real challenge and seem to be pickier about habitat. Yeah, really nice one here. I'm going to leave it in situ and get some photos, and then I'm going to grab it and we will get a closer look. All right, here's a closer look at this really nice eastern black king snake. Appears to be in shed, but still a really nice one. As you can see, not a lot of pattern, just solid black on top, some speckles on the side. This is about as pure of a Lamprepeltis nigra as you're going to get. A lot of them have more pattern and kind of light bands, and that's typically in the areas where you have more eastern king snake influence. And this is a nice big adult too. It's really beautiful. So cool seeing them up here where they are not very common. These are one of the easier king snakes to find in some parts of their range, but up here in northeastern Tennessee, they can be a real challenge. They have gave me a hard time for years, and I have actually had years go between finding adults up here. So really stoked to see one here in my home county. Just look at that snake. This is awesome. As you can see, this is some open kind of mixed hardwood and cedar habitat here, and there's a history of this being an old industrial area, so there's a lot of pavement, and that actually kind of creates some cedar glade, kind of flat rock type habitat. And we'll use these pieces of pavement for cover, and there's also some low areas of exposed limestone here, so really dry, open, but also kind of wooded area here. Great king snake habitat. So I'm just going to put this guy back under his piece of concrete here and keep on hiking, and we have some good cloud cover, so it's looking like we might see multiple kings today. And right here we have a pretty unexpected find. This is a spotted salamander here, and late April is typically too late to see them, but this is a random one. Not super surprising because we are here around some nice extensive wetlands, not far from a river floodplain, which is ideal habitat for these guys. There's a lot of different wetlands and vernal pools here, but it is really late in the season. Again, late April, it's more snake season now. But yeah, I'm going to take some quick photos of this spotted salamander because there hasn't been too many found here actually. And try to move this big rock back here and keep on flipping, and we'll see if we can find some more king snakes. Oh, hello. Apparently spotted salamanders have a preference for rocks and asphalt here in this region. Not sure what's going on today, but here's another one, and it is about the same size as the last one, so pretty cool. Really pretty one too, has some nice orange spots on the head. But anyway, I'm walking this edge here around some nice open grassland and cedar type habitat, so should be good for more king snakes. But yeah, another beautiful spotted salamander. I'm not sure what they're doing out right now, but never really get tired of seeing them, so I can't complain. But I'm just going to move this piece of asphalt back here and put this little guy back, and we will see what else we can find. Oh boy, look at this little guy. Appears to be fresh out of shed. Really bright, has that nice yellowish coloration that they often have when they are young. As you can see, this one here has much more pattern than the big adult black king snake that I found at the beginning of this little hike here. When they are young, they start out with a lot of pattern like this, and then as they age, that fades, especially in these really northern populations. Sometimes it fades to almost a solid black with just a few speckles on the side. But man, is this little guy beautiful. Flipped under some slate here, a nice rock on rock situation, perfect for king snakes. But I'm going to grab this little guy here and we will get a closer look. Right here is a closer look at this really good looking little eastern black king snake. Just look at those yellow bands. That is incredible. Really doesn't get any cleaner than that. Really beautiful ventral as well. Just a super clean looking little snake. I think this might be the most vibrant little juvenile black king I have ever found. I love the kings in this region. They're just incredibly hard to find, but that's one thing that makes it fun. He's wanting to ball up here. They tend to do that sometimes and try to hide their heads. There we go. You don't want to be on camera, do you? Such a beautiful little snake. I honestly had low expectations today. I have never got more than one in a day in this county, so that's what's up. Super clean, just gorgeous little eastern black king snake. But anyway, I'm going to get some photos of this little snake here and keep on hiking this really nice habitat, and we'll see if we can find some more. Third snake of the day is another black king snake here out basking just like the first one was. It looks like this one is in shed actually. But let's take a closer look. Wow, another big one. Yeah, definitely in shed, likely came out from under some of these pieces of old pavement here, and it's getting hotter now, so this one probably is coming out to bask. But 3 black kings here today. I'm kind of mind blown because I've always struggled with them here at this spot in the past, but I've really hit it just right. It's late April, really humid, cloudy. Not super hot yet, but it's warming up, so these guys are coming out. But yeah, unfortunately in shed, but again, a really dark one. Not much pattern on the back, really just speckles on the side. That's one of the main things I came up here to see, a nice true eastern black king snake, Lampropeltis nigra. Unfortunately, this snake has musked everywhere and made a bit of a mess on itself, and has some scale issues going on like the first one, but really not a bad looking snake all in all. I imagine if it was out of shed, it'd be a real stunner. Again, in this really exposed habitat here, this is one of the rare instances where human disturbances can actually create good habitat for reptiles. As you can see here, nice power line cut, all these slabs and things to flip. It creates a nice dry open area for them to bask and get under dry cover here. So yeah, another really big black king snake. Black king snakes are smaller than most of the other kings on average, but the ones here seem really big and dark and old. Really good looking snakes. So I'm going to put this one back and we will see if we can find some more kings. Good morning, everyone. It has been a day since you last seen me. Yesterday we had a really productive morning of finding eastern black king snakes at the northeasternmost extent of their range in the state of Tennessee. That was a really good time. But today I'm up here in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, and if you can't already tell, it still looks like winter up here. And I'm at a really high elevation in a mixed hardwood and spruce fir forest. There's a lot of really awesome stuff up here, especially salamanders, tons of diversity. So with that being said, I'm going to hit all of this habitat really hard and we will see what we can turn up today. first salamander of the morning is this really weird looking spring salamander here. As you can see, it has a almost completely black eye on one side, and the other side has a more normal looking pupil and looks pretty typical. So really strange looking salamander. This is in the Blue Ridge Mountains here, so you would think that these would be Blue Ridge spring salamanders, but the ones here really look more like northerns. This is such a high elevation, it's just really weird. As you can see, we're still in this mixed hardwood and spruce fir forest here, and this was just in a little seep. Looks like a northern spring salamander to me, but really, who knows what these are. Definitely isolated up here on this mountaintop. But yeah, spring salamanders love to eat other salamanders, and I'm sure there's an abundance of Blue Ridge Dusky salamanders in these little seeps up here. So should be plenty for them to eat. Really incredible looking salamander. Even at high elevations, they gotta have groundwater, some kind of underground water source, even if you can't see it. And usually in these spruce fir areas, it's little seeps like this. But yeah, not a really big one or anything, but still one of the big targets for the day. Glad I knocked it off under pretty much the first thing I flipped. But anyway, I'm going to put this spring salamander back here, get some pictures, and we will see if we can find some more salamanders. Next find of the day is this beautiful little northern ringneck snake here found under this rock. These are one of the few snakes that you'll see up here at these high elevations. Reptile diversity is pretty compromised up here, although there are some nice ones, and it's cool seeing them in this habitat. But yeah, these are salamander eaters, so I imagine that's what this little guy's doing up here. They are crazy cold tolerant and have a really wide range. They range really far north, and that's one reason they can handle these cold temperatures up here year round. Yeah, nice little northern ringneck snake. Here's the habitat. Beautiful scenery up here. I'm just going to put this little guy back and keep on flipping, and we'll see if we can find some salamanders. Next find of the day is another big target for up here. This is the northern Pygmy Salamander. Now, Pygmy Salamanders are one of the smallest salamanders in the world. This is an adult here. Really doesn't get any tinier than this. They are from the genus Desmognathus, so they are a dusky salamander. But what makes them unique is they actually reproduce by direct development. So there is no aquatic larval stage. The little Pygmy salamanders come right out of the egg, looking like miniature versions of the adults. And they will hang out in damp areas like this right here. This one was actually under a rock on this kind of wet little rocky slope here. But they spend most of their time up on land. They are primarily found in high elevation spruce fir forest, so there's only a few high elevation mountaintops where these are found on. They were once thought to be the same species as the normal Pygmy salamander, which occurs further to the southwest. But these northern Pygmy salamanders only occur on, I think, 3 mountaintops here in the northeastern part of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Really unique little salamanders. This is one of the big targets up here. I was starting to worry that I wouldn't get them. But anyway, I'm going to move this little guy and we will get a closer look. What a strange little salamander. I would say these salamanders had a much larger range at one time, but they are relics from a much colder climate. There's a lot of things up here that are basically have been isolated since the last ice age. Whaler salamanders, even northern flying squirrels, things that range as far north as Canada, and a lot of northern plants as well. But anyway, really nice little northern Pygmy salamander. I'm going to take some time to get some photographs of this one because this is actually a species that I do not have any good photos of. And keep on flipping and we will see what else we can find. Right, here's a shot of the habitat. As you can see, rocky, pretty much permanently wet up here. This is more of a pure spruce fir forest in this area. But anyway, we're going to keep on after it. And right here we have the other high elevation desmog that lives up here. This is the larger and more resilient Blue Ridge Dusky Salamander. These guys are usually everywhere, but this is the first one I've seen today. They are more general, but still really thrive in these high elevation spruce fir forests. Unlike the Pygmy Salamanders, they will actually use the springs and seeps as well. Like where we found that spring salamander, but you can also find them in the wet uplands a long way from water. This species can be a variety of color morphs. Really depends on where they are. And some populations have like 4 or 5 different color variations, so they can really vary, and it can get confusing when you're trying to ID them. Some of them even develop really beautiful red stripes and like reticulated patterns and all kinds of different color variations. This one here is more of a general color. It's just kind of a brown. But yeah, really nice Blue Ridge Dusky Salamander, Desmognathus orestes. Always cool to see these up here. I'm going to take some quick photos and keep on flipping, and we'll see if we can find some more salamanders. Holy smokes, right here we have another northern Pygmy Salamander, and this one is a big adult. Now this really is as big as they get. The last one was pretty average size, but this is about as large as you are going to see a Pygmy Salamander. But look how much different. Look at this orange coloration here. I have never seen one this high of an orange. Wow, that's super vibrant. Crazy. I'm going to move this little guy to a rock here, and we will get a closer look. Okay, now that is just an insane looking salamander. I have never seen one this orange, and I have never seen regular Pygmy salamanders this orange either. This is by far the biggest and prettiest one I have ever seen. Insanity. Really want to take some pictures of this one, but I want to keep the video going just a little bit longer. These salamanders are so unique. Only found up here in these spruce fir forests. Once you get into lower elevations and even get into more mixed hardwood and spruce fir, you really stop seeing them as much. They can go down lower, but the real concentrations of them are up here on these really high elevation mountaintops. I'm just in awe over this thing. Just look at it. But anyway, I'm going to get some photos of this incredible looking northern Pygmy salamander here and keep on flipping, and we'll see if we can find some more of these or our other targets. And right here we have northern Pygmy salamander number 3 for the day. This one is more of a maroon red. Still a good sized adult for this species though. These salamanders seem to have a preference for rocks up here. This one was flipped. This is basically in C2 right here. But yeah, we spent some time on the other ones, and my phone battery is getting low, and I really want to get my other targets for the day, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time with this one. But yeah, awesome to see these guys in numbers up here. Here's a shot of the habitat. Rocky, spruce fir, pretty wet area here. But anyway, I'm just going to put this rock back and keep on flipping, and we will see what else we can find. And right here we have northern Pygmy salamanders number 4 and 5. How about that? This is the most I have ever seen in one day. I'm really impressed with this site so far. Again, we've spent quite a bit of time on these, so I'm just going to leave them to it and keep on flipping, and we'll see what else we can find. And right here we have northern Pygmy salamanders 6 and 7. This is starting to get ridiculous. Hopefully this luck will carry over into the Plethodon as well, but we will see. Another really pretty orange one here, and a darker one as well. Awesome looking salamanders. I'm going to keep on working this insanely beautiful habitat here, and we'll see what we can find. And speaking of Plethodon, right here we have a nice adult northern gray-cheeked salamander. These are one of the easiest members of the Jordani complex to find, but they are a good sign for more uncommon species of Plethodon like Wellers and Yanawasi salamanders, which are a big target today. But these are high elevation specialists. They reach really large numbers where they do occur, but still really habitat specific. The greatest densities of them are always up here in these really high elevation spruce fir forest. Unlike Weller salamanders and some of the other species that live up here, you can see these around the lower elevations of these mountains as well, as long as there's a, I guess you could call it a high elevation source. But yeah, really nice Plethodon montanus here. Good example of one. I'm going to keep on flipping logs, and we'll see if we can find some other species. And right here we have another one of the big targets for the day. This is the Weller salamander, another really small species that is endemic to these high elevation spruce fir forests. This particular site is the only place you can see these in the state of Virginia, and there's really no other salamander that looks quite like them. As you can see, really unique gold coloration, black spots. This is the average adult size as well. If I can, I'm going to keep this little guy on this leaf here to avoid stressing it out. But man, are these salamanders beautiful. They're not very big. Just a really high elevation specialist. You typically will not see them below 4,000 feet. They can occur down lower, but much like the Pygmy Salamander and many of the other species that live up here, they reach their greatest densities in these pure spruce fir forests like what we have right here. They also tend to be associated with talus rock, much like the Untitled Salamander, and their pattern actually kind of blends in with that, and the kind of brownish gold coloration that you see in a lot of the substrate up here. Not sure if that has anything to do with their markings or not. But yeah, a really awesome adult Weller salamander. And again, much like the Pygmy Salamanders, this is one of only a few mountaintops where they occur. These salamanders have a really small range in extreme southwestern Virginia, extreme northeastern Tennessee, and western North Carolina. And these few high elevation mountaintops are the only place in the world where you will see these. One interesting fact about these salamanders is they are actually named after Worth Hamilton Weller, who discovered them on Grandfather Mountain in North Carolina, and he fell to his death collecting them, and he was found with the newly described specimens in a bag below a cliff. So yeah, pretty interesting story with these guys. Weller was a pioneer for his day, a really successful herpetologist, way ahead of his time. But yeah, really gorgeous Weller salamander here. I'm going to get some photos of this individual, put it back under its log, and keep on hiking, and we'll see if we can find the other target that I had in mind today. Next find of the day here in this roadside spring is this really good looking Black-Bellied Salamander, nice big one. As the sun is coming out here, you can see just how vibrant that pattern is. This is actually one of the prettiest ones I have ever seen. Really good looking salamander. It's not a trip to the Blue Ridge Mountains unless you are seeing Black-Bellied Salamanders. If I have time today, I'm going to try to find the close relative of these guys, the Shovelnose Salamander, which is a bit tougher to find and a bit more habitat specific. But yeah, really big, good looking Black-Bellied Salamander. Right here's a perspective of the habitat. Just a roadside spring here coming down this mountain. But anyway, I'm going to put this guy back under his rock here. And right here we have another Blue Ridge Dusky Salamander, but as you can see, this one looks very different from the first one. This is one of those really unique color variations that I was talking about earlier. This one is a really high orange coloration, similar to those Pygmy Salamanders, but a bit different. Just a beautiful coloration. Really, all of the Mountain Dusky complex is very variable with the color morphs. Even at individual populations, all of the adults can look very different, so that can be a challenge to identify if you're not used to desmogs. But anyway, I'm going to let this little guy go here. I have been working these larger streams here for Shovelnose Salamanders. Blue Ridge Duskies do like water, but they don't like really fast flowing water in larger streams like this, so typically in these areas you'll just see them hanging out around the margins. But yeah, really pretty Desmognathus orestes. Unfortunately, it is the end of the day now, so I'm probably not going to have time to find a Shovelnose or Untitled Salamander. But the good news is I'm driving north to the Cumberland Mountains of Virginia tonight to do some road cruising. So I'm going to head up that way and get ready for dusk. And we have some good rains moving in, so hopefully tonight will be productive. But anyway, I will see you guys there. Good morning, everyone. It has been a day since you last seen me, and unfortunately the rain never came through last night, so I ended up not going out to road cruise. But this morning I'm up here in the Shell Knobs in the ridge and valley of southwestern Virginia. There's a lot of cool stuff here that's a little bit out of range. Black mountain salamanders reach the southernmost extent of their range here in southwestern Virginia, that is. And there's also black-bellied salamanders up here, which are really common in the Blue Ridge Mountains and other areas where they occur, but you don't typically see them up here in the ridge and valley. So there's spring salamanders and other cool things as well, so I'm going to poke around here and we will see what we can turn up. All right, well that didn't take long. First salamander of the day is this nice black-bellied salamander here. Again, really common species in the Blue Ridge Mountains, but in the ridge and valley they don't occur in too many places, and this is one of them. As you can see, this is really mountainous looking here, kind of resembles something you would see in the Blue Ridge Mountains. There's rhododendron and really fast flowing rocky streams. But this is not an actual mountain range. These are just little knobs along the base of the Ridge and Valley Mountains here in Virginia. The black-bellied salamanders here are typically really short and stocky. They are much longer in the Blue Ridge Mountains, it seems, but as far as I know, these are still Desmognathus quadrimaculatus. As you can see by the solid black belly, that's where they get their name. That's the easiest way to identify them. This one has that nice rusty, kind of chocolatey brown coloration on top. But yeah, nice black-bellied salamander here at a disjunct population in the shell knobs of the Virginia Ridge and Valley. I'm going to let this guy go here and keep on working this stream, and we'll see if we can find something else. So as you can see here, I am just about out of surface water. This is basically the head of this little spring here. There are a lot of other cool salamanders here, including northern spring salamanders, but it's looking like it's the wrong time of year for that, and I'm about out of time. It's about time for me to head back to Georgia. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick look at this really unique habitat here. I'm definitely leaving something to come back for. I had a really good time in this video. Enjoyed the change of scenery. I hope you guys did as well. But with that being said, I feel like it's a good time to end this video here. So like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Do all of that good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.